Stereotypes. We're all familiar with them. We all talk about them. And while this is not a video about stereotypes per se, in that we can discuss stereotypes in many other videos in the future, I'm sure, wrap it around a little bit differently, add some stuff, make it real good. But see, the thing is I want to talk about a negative stereotype today. And that's, again, assuming that from the definition of stereotypes, there are good stereotypes and bad stereotypes. I would not say that, stereotypically speaking, stereotypes are all stereotypical. You know what I mean? But seriously, I want to talk about a negative stereotype, which I think on my side of the aisle, which is the identification as a straight man or whatever, is that straight men don't get their nails done. And so, again, that's the false stereotype that I want to address, because in my opinion, it's a false stereotype, meaning thereby that the stereotype, which would make my opinion of that stereotype be false, is that straight men do not get their nails done. Now, all right, let's talk about this, guys, and let's talk about this too, ladies. You're welcome in on the conversation. But as it goes, how many of you guys out there that identify as straight, right, in terms of addressing this specific stereotype as it concerns me from my perspective and my opinion, how many of you out there who also perhaps identify as the same in that regard have your girlfriend cut your nails or your wife cut your nails? And then I even say that in such stereotypical fashion. How many of you have your girlfriends do this? How many men out there ask their women to cut their nails, either hands or feet? Pedicure, manicure, right? So here, that's the thing, right? So, answer that question seriously while your wife's sitting there next to you. See if, she's not going to be the honest one in that regard. As in, honey, you know that I cut them, right? In terms of, so how is it that men, right, speaking in a traditional sense from a perspective of a straight man or whatever, we expect that kind of differential treatment in the home, but yet we don't want to acknowledge it when we're with the guys or when we're out in the real world or whatever. And maybe it's because we're partnered up or whatever, but like the thing is that I think straight guys should be able to feel comfortable getting their nails done, right? Like, it's not an activity reserved exclusively for women, and or unfortunately the negative part of that stereotype too is, and just negative in that being labeled as such, and how it impacts the straight guy in that gay guys, I guess, also we can assume from this conversation are also stereotyped in that fashion as likely consumers of said establishments, right? That in that way, right? And so the thing is with my identification, right, and my club or whatever as it would be, I think it's entirely acceptable to have your nails done. If you're straight, if you're gay, if you're trans, if you're les, LGBTQ friendly, all the way with your identification. But the thing is, like, and there's no buts in that regard. It's just still, I think that straight men should not have to suffer the negative stereotype of walking into a nail salon just to have like a bunch of grown women look at you like in the weirdest possible way, right? And again, is it akin, I ask myself, to something like a woman entering a barber shop, let's say, for example, in that regard? And I have to say no, because unless the woman, which I don't typically would say would go into a barbershop for said hair services, goes in there for said hair services, it's not likely that it's like a stereotype in that women don't get their hair cut by other dudes who have been trained to cut, short hairstyles, and it's regard to stereotypically being men in nature or all that other stuff or whatever. So it's sort of like, again, I think that the experience of being a straight guy and entering a nail salon in which the majority of the clients are women, ranging in all types of ages. I mean, every time I've been to the nail salon, and that's the thing too, is yes, your boy here likes to get his feet done, right? And that's a thing. Why do I like getting my feet done? Well, for probably the same reason you ask your girlfriend and or wife to do it for you. I do not like cutting my nails, just like my toenails in specific. My toenails, my hands, I can handle. It's okay, whatever. that's fine, right? I mean, I'll do my hands, but like my feet, I'm not per se a feet person to begin with, much less my own hobbit looking like feet. So, yes, I would rather pay handsomely for a service that allows me to not have to do that, right? And so, again, I think that, and how many times? I probably got a manicure maybe 10 times thus far. When did I start getting them? I don't know, maybe like 5 years ago or so, because again, I was not living the double standard anymore. And while it does feel uncomfortable, right? Because again, I think it's a false stereotype to say that straight men don't or shouldn't feel comfortable to get their nails done, either hands or feet, right? And so, again, be bold, empower yourself. Young guys out there, right, of adult age, obviously, in terms of that kind of a thinking, do your thing. Continue to like seek out services to break stereotypes so that old guys like me don't have to go to nail salons and look like we're a sore thumb in terms of the clientele, and as it would be, and as it translates on over to the actual service provided by the place, right? Which could either be welcoming, cool, and unexpected, or unwelcoming, not cool, and not expected, which is something obviously you don't want. But to all my straight guys out there who, again, think it's somehow a negative stereotype to get your nails done, go get your nails done, all right? For real. Enjoy yourself, just like I'm sure women say to other women in terms of that, but go do your thing. All right. My recommendation is to let them do the polishing and all that other stuff. They do some wonderful things. I'm not even entirely sure what all goes down there, but I know that it's good, and I know that at the end of it, my hobbit feet look like clean hobbit feet.